Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. We got some more leaks of the Adidas Harden Volume 6 and a lot of you guys have sent it over, so shout out to the Soul Squadron for that. So I mean, like, a lot of you guys sent this over, so I was like, I wasn't going to do a video on it because I don't think this is the Harden Volume 6 and I'll tell you guys why, but I guess since you guys told me to make a video on it and a lot of you guys sent it over, I decided to make a video on it, right? So first of all, of course, we had James Harden. Like, we had some pictures of him playing in the actual shoe, right? And we can, not clearly because it's pretty potato quality and there's not a whole lot of details in the shoe and in these shots when you kind of like zoom in into the shoe. But I would guess that James Harden is playing in his new shoe, the Harden Volume 6, right? And also shout out to Hoop Sneakers for these, right? So Hoop Sneakers as well as I am Bratpud24. So he said specifically that these are samples, and we can see that the cushioning is a little bit different. Like, so if you look at the shoe that James Harden is playing in, and also the rumor, like Hoop Sneakers, he kind of said there is a rumor that the cushioning setup is supposed to be very similar to the Harden Volume 1, right? So if you look at the actual shoe that James Harden's wearing, on the lateral side of the shoe, it is pretty caged, right? And we can see this kind of like weird, like, plastic part. It kind of looks like a drip pattern, you know, like paint dripping a little bit, but it's just like a plastic piece. And we can also see an Adidas logo on the outsole. And then also on the medial side, we can see some boost, and it looks very similar to the Harden Volume 1, right? And also, and one thing that I don't like is the heel, which is super caged. It looks like, I don't know what it is, but on top of that outsole, that rubber piece, I'm not sure if it's rubber or plastic, but it looks like a different color. So hopefully maybe it's like a softer type of rubber or something like that that cages. Like, for example, here in the Harden Volume 2, right? I forgot I even had this shoe. This is my what did they call this? My Adidas, right? And even it says Soul Bros here. And then, so this is kind of like my ID of the Harden Volume 2. Anyways, looking here into the heel, like, look at this, look at how much it's caged, you know what I mean? And it wasn't terrible and it wasn't like super clunky because this rounded shape, first of all, that definitely did help the heel to toe transition. There is good forefoot flex, and this rubber outsole, if you press it, it's not like super stiff, you know what I mean? There is a little bit of give, so it wasn't like terrible or anything, you know? Even in the Harden Volume 1, if you like kind of compress it, there is a good amount of compression. It's not like a super stiff like rubber material here to cage the boost, right? But here in the Harden Volume 5, it's just, it's like as stiff as this table, you know? There's no give. I don't know what they were thinking with this, but like, and also this shoe is broken in, right? And it's still pretty damn stiff here as far as the forefoot flex goes. And I got another pair in because I'm stupid. I don't know why I got another pair in, but this is even stiffer. Look at that. Like, it's, I don't know how. I mean, I guess it does flex a good amount, and like once you break it in, it's not terrible, but like, you know, when you get it at first, like, the material is super stiff, the sole is super stiff, it's also very, very flat, it's a slapper, and it's clunky here in the heel, right? And as you guys know, I mean, if you guys saw the Harden Volume 5 review, you guys would know, you know what I mean? Or if you guys have ever tried it on. So hopefully that's not the case. And also looking at what James Harden's wearing, it looks very different from the sample version, right? So looking on the lateral side, we can see the outsole, and there is no exposed midsole, so obviously there is a drop in midsole, and we can see that there is a drop in midsole, kind of like leaked picture as well. You know, we can see it's pretty much the same exact setup with the boost dropping and like the light strike carrier or whatever. And we and this shoe has a crazy crap ton of Achilles pillows. Holy crap, we got 6 Achilles pillows. I mean, the Adidas Harden Volume 5 had 4, so that's a lot of Achilles pillows. So I mean, looking at that, I mean, like, the Harden Volume 5 cushioning setup wasn't super nice. I mean, there was a little bit of give from the boost, I guess, right underneath your foot, but it was just really, really thin, so you couldn't really feel a whole lot of bounce or a whole lot of compression or anything like that. And also looking from the sample pair, you can't really see the back, but it doesn't look like there's anything on the back, you know what I mean? And also looking at the lateral side of the shoe with this, like, fused material, which looks absolutely horrendous, with it kind of looks like a flower, you know, like flower petals or something with like a weird kind of texture on it. That looks very different from what James Harden is wearing, you know? So there's that drip pattern and also that Adidas logo on the sole, right? You don't have any of that here in the sample version. Obviously this is a sample version, so I'm guessing they used a little bit of the same technology from the Harden Volume 5 in the sample version, which I hate. So I'm glad that that's probably not what they're going to use here in the Harden Volume 6. Also, looking at the outsole, it says 13. So that's pretty interesting. It's the Harden Volume 6, but 13 is Harden's number, so I guess that's probably why they added that. And the traction pattern looks very, very not durable. I mean, from the 1, I don't know what it was, but Harden really liked this web pattern. You know, the 1 had it, the 2 had it, the 3 had this herringbone, but I mean, the 3 was amazing. The 4 also had this kind of like weird web pattern. It's the same with the 5 a little bit, you know, it's still like a very similar pattern, you know, but they went away from that here in the Harden Volume 6. Obviously, we don't know if this is going to be the actual outsole pattern for the 6 yet, because this is the sample pair, right? But looking from the sample pair, I mean, durability doesn't look that good. Like the grooves look very, very thin. Harden's line has been pretty damn solid for traction. I guess the 4 wasn't that nice and the 5 was okay. But the 1, 2, 3 were very, very nice. So, I mean, it all depends on what rubber compound they use, of course, as you guys all know. And now moving on to the top of the shoe. So I think from the sample to the actual like pair that Harden is wearing, the upper is probably like the part of the shoe that didn't really change all too much. I think the outsole and the midsole that they use is very different, obviously because this is a sample pair, right? But if you look at the actual upper, it looks very similar, right? So we got some fused materials here in the toe box area, and we also have Harden's logo, which is slanted at like a 45-degree angle, which is kind of weird. And also it says volume 6. So yeah, I'm guessing obviously this is the Harden Volume 6, right? And of course on the tongue we got the 2 pull tabs, which is weird. It's a very weird aesthetic. This colorway also is very weird. I don't like the color combination of like the Volt and what is this, like a pinkish, like hot pink color. If you look at the eyelets though, we got some Flywire like cables. I know Flywire is Nike, but I just call it Flywire because I don't know, that's what I always call it, right? And then for the tongue, we got a mesh material, which I like, and the tongue is very large. You know, it's an oversized tongue. You know, I feel like Harden just likes a very large tongue. It just feels nicer, you know what I mean? So the overall design language on the upper looks pretty similar to the Harden Volume 5 with like the fused material and like these like bubble kind of shapes, right? I hope that it's not as stiff as a Harden Volume 5 because this material is super, super stiff. And it just felt really bad on foot, and just like coupling all of that with the clunkiness, just how stiff the sole is, it's a slapper, and then the material being so damn stiff, it just didn't feel nice, you know what I mean? But the Harden Volume 6, this material, it looks very soft. It also doesn't really look glued down, and it looks kind of like a spandex kind of material, you know, like a stretchy material with a little bit of foam in the upper, which I think will be nice, you know? Just go back to the Harden Volume 4. It's just a super nice and very thin prime knit material. The 2 was also nice, you know, with this, I forgot what they called it, but you know, they have the cross stitching on it for extra added durability. It's like a textile material. The Harden Volume 3, I mean, this colorway is obviously just fused, but the other colorways had like a prime knit as well. The Harden Volume 1 was super stiff at first, but once you broke it in, it also wasn't that bad, you know? But yeah, the sample version, I don't think this is the actual Harden Volume 6, just in my opinion, and it looks pretty different from what James Harden is wearing, besides I guess the upper, which of course is a good thing because I didn't like the setup. You know, I love drop-in midsoles, but one way you can really absolutely mess it up, like they did here in the Harden Volume 5, is just add so much damn rubber outsole. Look at this, and just make it so damn stiff and flat that it just becomes like very clunky, you know, as opposed to the Harden Volume 1. If it's like a Harden Volume 1 with this like plate here and the full length boost, I mean, if it's caged, that's okay, as long as it's still a pretty soft kind of like feeling here, like in the Harden Volume 1, then, you know, it's gonna be nice. And also, you can see there is a little bit of a curve, there is a lot of forefoot flex, which, you know, the Harden Volume 1 wasn't clunky at all. I'm pretty excited about it. You know, like when I first saw the sample, I was like, yo, this looks terrible. But like looking at it and comparing it with the shoe that James Harden is wearing, it looks very different. So I'm still pretty excited about the Harden Volume 6, I guess. So tell us your thoughts on the Harden Volume 6 down in the comment section below. And also, Lamelo Ball has kind of like leaked or unveiled his first signature shoe with PUMA. There's no information on the tech yet, and we don't know a release date, but of course, I mean, this is Lamelo Ball's first signature shoe with PUMA. Remember his first one with Big Baller Brand with the fake boost? I think that was Lonzo's shoe. I don't know. I don't really remember. I never got it. I didn't really care all too much, but this one looks pretty sick. You know, and the color, this colorway is like an infrared color. The foam looks very nice. You know, just looking at the foam here, there is a little bit of a spiky pattern. It kind of reminds me of like, I think it's like the KT1, you know, or the KT2. I think it's the KT1 kind of had that like spiky pattern in the midsole. It doesn't look caged at all though. I mean, Puma really likes to cage their cushion. But this looks fully exposed, which is super nice. The outsole, we don't know what the pattern is, but it looks to be a multi-directional pattern. You know, if you look on the side in the toe area, you can kind of see a multi-directional pattern. Also here in the toe box area, we have some fuse for extra added durability, and we got a Puma logo there. So Puma, of course, usually likes to put their logo here, you know, kind of like Nike does with their swoosh, right? But I guess they decided to put it here in the toe box, which I think is a very nice change. And as far as the materials go, it looks like a synthetic mesh. You know, it looks like a mesh material, but like a little plasticky. And then it says not from here on the toe. And then here in the tongue, I think Lamelo has this tattooed on himself, on his chest, I think. And then also on the tongue, it says 1 of 1, which is pretty dope. The overall upper doesn't look like it's the best as far as the quality goes, but you know, hopefully it's like soft and thin. And the cushion, I have my hopes up. I'm not 100% sure what it is as far as the foam goes, but it is fully exposed. So hopefully it's not like super stiff or anything. And it is like a mid-cut shoe. So I'm not a huge fan of that. In my personal preference, I like to have a low-cut shoe. And the tongue is a very large tongue with it looks to have a good amount of padding. So yeah, what do you guys think the price is gonna be? Maybe like $120 maybe? I mean, like Puma, they're not shy. They don't shy away from like giving us expensive shoes, you know what I mean? This shoe was like $130, I think. So and there's no signature athlete behind it, but I guess like $130 isn't super expensive, you know. So I'm guessing it's gonna be like around like $120 since it is Lamelo's first signature shoe. Tell us your thoughts on the Harden Volume 6 and Lamelo Ball's shoe. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.